Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Real Estate Power Zone. Today, we're going to talk about different things that can go wrong with real estate, because if it can go wrong, it will go wrong. So how do you respond? What are the different things that can go wrong? One thing we were just talking about before we even got on camera is that even bad press is still good press. So, even it's how you handle things depends on how you're going to succeed with it and whether you learn with it. Today, we have Jen Overstreet. She's a realtor over in the Gallatin, Tennessee area. So, that's Nashville North right there. That is a growing area there. Every time I go by there, going to see my mom in Portland, it's like there's another public store that's there. And we also have Randi Smith. She's over in Sevierville. And yeah, she dressed up for us today. So no, I love the overalls. She didn't tell us that was overall days today. So we're just going to get into some things today and see how we can better prepare you for your future endeavors, because really it is all in your response. Don't ever think that something is just a real negative, because you can always learn from everything. We all make mistakes every day. Yes. We make mistakes
daily.
So, yeah, absolutely. So, Jim, what's maybe one of the things that's happened to you recently here?
Well, I mean, what can go wrong in real estate? I mean, there's so much. So I've been in for almost, I say like I've been in like the penitentiary or something, but been in real estate for 10 years. Could be 11 next month. I mean, I'm telling you, I've been in. It's doing hard times sometimes. I love what I do, but there's definitely days where I'm like, whoo, girl, have you really thought about this? And Saturday was one of them things when I was cleaning dead mice out of my new listing and auction property. That was a good time. That was a great time.
The things that you have
with cardboard, juicy, bad time.
The things you have to do for listings and
Full
different
service.
things on there. Absolutely. You were you were mentioning that, is it worth it with what I'm doing? And that's one thing too, is anything that you do, you're going to have your good days, you're going to have your bad days, you're going to have your days that you question it. I love what I do. I can't think of doing anything else. I wish I would have started doing this a lot earlier in my life. But yeah, there are days it's like, can I get going? Once you get going, it's great on there. Randi, what about you?
Oh, so the instance that pops up in my mind was from about 2 years ago, I'd say. And, during a really hot time in the market, as we can all attest, and was working with a couple who wanted to purchase land here in Sevier County to develop, put 1 or 2 structures on to be used either ultimately as an event venue or maybe short-term rental, because of course that's what our area is big and known for. So we had looked at lot after lot, acreage after acreage, and just kept hitting one obstacle or another. They made the trip. They're from the Nashville area. They made the trip out and spent the day looking at some properties and found one that they were super excited about. I followed the like the driving directions, from MLS that the listing agent had in there, because it really wasn't a GPS-able address. Looked at it on the tax records, felt like we were on the correct plot. Notice I said felt like. I mean, so excited. All of us were excited. They were like, oh, this is great.
Beautiful. We love it.
Yes. But something just kind of kept buzzing in my head saying, why doesn't this feel right? Why doesn't this feel right? This feels too easy, is what I kind of kept thinking, right? And so we get back out into civilization, and we're talking about what their offer would be, what the terms for the offer would be. any contingencies, all that good jazz. And I keep looking and I keep looking, and it finally hits. We were on the wrong piece of property. I mean, heartbroken. I mean, I'm super grateful that we figured it out before we submitted an offer, right?
Oh,
Because
absolutely. That could be a
we-
nightmare.
Right. And we were going to go in pretty aggressive because they wanted this property. And I mean, it was as if I had punched them in the gut. And so I felt horrible. But again, I'm glad I kind of kept with my own
Was there not a
instinct.
sign on it?
No. And that was the
Those
problem.
land without
too.
signs, man,
I
it's tough.
know.
Wow.
And no flags, no markers really of any kind. And, and everybody will say something like, well, use Landglide or use this app or that app. Well, if you don't have service,
When
it
you're in the
doesn't really
boonies,
matter.
you're up a creek.
Yeah. So, like I said, good news is we didn't get as far as going under contract, but man, I felt awful. I felt like I truly just crushed their dreams and never did find a lot for them.
And you mentioned
Oh,
something, there that still applies today, non-GPSable.
Was that a term even? I made it up.
Hey, it is a term now on there. So you'll see that we can do that as a trending term, non-GPSable.
Love it.
And make that happen. It kind of reminds me when I was in high school, I went to school in Springfield on there, and I came from Nashville. It was a small Christian school that I went to. The girl that I was dating was pretty much closer to the Kentucky line, and I knew when I first had was going to pick her up from Nashville. So you're talking a long
oh
way.
yeah, you
Yeah.
backtrack. You're an hour at least.
But when she was telling me, says, okay, then when you see the tractor on the pole, it's
I mean, it's
turned-
still a very real thing to have
It-
directions by landmarks.
It is
absolutely.
real.
So I was driving, and lo and behold, there was a full-size tractor on a pole. On there, go, well, I guess that's it. But it is understanding the local areas that you're not familiar with, and
Yeah.
what can be some different landmarks. So maybe what would you think that would be something that could be help with that? Maybe stop with somebody that's local to the to the area that might recognize certain things.
My
I don't know on
biggest
that.
piece of advice to agents is if you are not truly familiar with that area, you're doing a disservice to that client by not knowing the driving area, how long it's going to take to get back.
That local knowledge.
Yeah, that local knowledge is huge. I mean, I do cover Middle Tennessee, but my bread and butter is Robertson, Sumner, Wilson, and Northern Davidson County, because that's where most of my sphere is, and that's where my people are at. Like, I've got clients right now that are looking, south of Nashville toward that Alabama line, and I'm got
Totally
some
different.
calls out to some agents that are, licensed in Alabama and Tennessee, because I'm not as familiar with that southern part. And so if I'm not familiar, then I'm not able to fully assist them. So I'll refer it out, and I have no problem referring stuff out. If I am not wholeheartedly in it, I will refer it out 100%, because I'm doing them a disservice.
Thank you for saying that, because I don't know about where you are.
Oh, girl, I ain't coming up in your area.
She said no. But here's
Mm-mm.
what I'm starting to see more and more. And again, I mean, you kind of hit on it, right? I mean, as licensed agents in the state of Tennessee, legally, yes, we can cover the
All
entire
over.
state. All
Mhm.
over. Absolutely. Every nook and cranny, no doubt about it. Well, I feel like, sorry, we took a turn here, Dawn.
No.
I feel like as professionals,
Mhm.
we are absolutely 1000% doing our clients a disservice, that we're not really playing fair with the other agents when we list a property, for instance, I literally just ran across this yesterday. A property that's listed for sale in Dandridge, which is
Mhm.
Jefferson County,
Yep.
by an agent out of a Johnson City office, which is Northeast Tennessee, approximately anywhere from an hour, hour and a half away,
Two
depending
different
on
MLSs.
two totally different MLSs. Okay, fine. I can accept that, especially if it's a confidant, a family member, whatever. What I have serious trouble accepting is the fact that it's listed in their Northeast Tennessee and not any of our local associations.
Yeah, because they're not getting maximum exposure for that property.
Exposure.
Mhm.
They're doing their clients a disservice. They're putting those of us that do have that local knowledge and do have clients looking in this area at a disadvantage, because now we've got to track that person down to get the docs and everything we need to properly process and work the sale.
And
Yeah.
that still definitely falls into what can go wrong will, because what you're looking at also is how can a listing agent that is a certain distance away, how can they effectively serve their client with any showings, with different things? And this is one thing that we see on, like, one of those Facebook groups that I see a lot on there is the listing agent will have the listing, but then they push off everything saying, oh, here, find someone local to show you the home.
You better be
Here,
ready.
go into the home yourself. Do different things. So
Don't do that.
absolutely, it's a good chance to partner with somebody in a certain area to get that refer it. This is one thing that realtors have that lenders don't have, is y'all can refer out
Mhm.
and still make some money.
Right.
There are loans that, and I can do a lot of loans, but there are some loans that I can't do or that I'm not experienced in that I would be able to love to refer out, but I can't refer that out to really. I can vary, within my branch, basically. I can do that with a certain thing, or maybe within the company, but I can't refer it out to maybe somebody else and still make some money. Y'all can on there, and so it's
Right.
a great opportunity to build. And it's not even necessarily about the money. It's nice to get that, but be able to refer that out, make sure that they're in great hands with that, and to maybe still
Network.
be involved in some way and say,
Yeah.
hey, listen, how's everything going on there? Because sometimes even who you refer out to may not be the best person,
Right.
but if you
I had nightmares on that one.
but if
Uh-oh.
I would imagine, I would imagine if from the get-go, if you establish a good relationship and say, well, listen, let's, check in here, even though I'm referring this out, I want to be of help because this is a, family member, or this is a veteran, or this is whatever. And we want to make sure that it's taken care of, is done, everything goes smoothly.
Yeah.
If it's not somebody that works similar to me, like wholeheartedly, here's what I know. I know that my East Tennessee, their market is wholeheartedly, utterly different than Nashville.
Absolutely.
And how they do business is different. I mean, I work in my area of, communication is huge. And so when I am networking, and I network across the US, I think I'm going to venture off and get in my SIPS designation eventually, go international with it. I mean, if I can incorporate my love of travel with real estate, I mean, honey, I am here for it.
What's that designation?
SIPS, it is Certified International Professional Service.
Yeah.
Okay.
I sound dumb,
CIPS.
but
International.
it's international something. So
Right.
it's some classes. It's just to get you more acquainted, and you have to have so many international referrals in order to get that designation. But yes, ma'am. I love it. So, it's just about if I am not the best fit, at the end of the day, it's people over profit always. And I
that.
know if I stick to that mentality, that money will follow eventually. It may not be instant gratification right now, but they're going to remember, oh, Jen took care of me. Jen has my best interest. And
Yeah.
the agents that are getting in it for a quick dollar, oh, you just might as well go on and go flip burgers. You're going to make more money. But if you are people over profit and you just think about the person and not the sale, you will do well in this business.
Yeah.
Let me ask you all about systems. Having the right systems in there, because I know personally, because I'm not the best person with systems. I understand the importance of them, but if it can go wrong, it will. You can have good intentions of being able to follow up, being able to expand. Just from personal experience, when I first got into this, one thing that I failed to do was everybody that I contacted or that I was in contact with, of putting them into some type of database, sheet of paper, whatever on there. So what are your thoughts on having the right systems or suggestions?
I'm going to let Randy take that one first.
Yeah, I'm kind of busting at the seams, frankly. So I 1000% believe in good systems and models. With that being said, my system is winging a prayer. So if we want to talk about what can go wrong in real estate or what does go wrong, it is my inability to follow a system. And it has bitten me in the rear end. Absolutely it has. And when I say that, I mean in terms of loss of business, what the heck? And who am I to think, look, y'all, okay, so I've only had my license 4 years. It's 4 years this month. Today, as a matter of fact, holy smokes, look at that.
Well, happy work anniversary.
So when I first got into the business, because I'm just kind of stubborn that way, I was like, well, I can do it my way and it'll be fine. Well, yeah, I did it my way and it was fine, but it wasn't great, And then I sit in some of these, like with the very first time I ever met my coach, very first time I ever met her, before I'd even signed up for coaching. Tell me about your business. What's your business plan? Tell me about your P&L. Tell me about this. Tell me about that. And when I said winging a prayer to her, she just about fell out of her chair. And I still remind her of that to this day. I'm like, winging a prayer. But I'm getting better.
Nails on the chalkboard.
I know, but I am getting better. And with that being said, systems do work. They absolutely work.
Yep. Yeah, and you may not have so for me, I started in 2013, really got rolling in 2014, and from there kind of just flatlined. Like I was doing business, but I wasn't at my top by any means.
Mm-hmm.
I took a class, and I to this day, I give this man credit. To this day, Robert Morris. I took a CRS class. He doesn't teach those classes anymore, but it was Business Planning 101, and I will never forget it. But he changed my business.
That's
one
awesome.
class.
That's
And
awesome.
hands down, opened doors just by, taking that class and getting into the right room. I mean, so many agents just think that you're here, you're at your brokerage, and that's it. And you don't have to network, you don't have to go to events, you don't have to, get into all of that. That is so anti-real estate that
Yes.
you are not going to last. I always heard, you had to list to last, list to last. So CRS class, the 10-cent condensed version that made like the light bulbs in my head go off because I'm ADHD like none other. And I got to have like keep it simple, stupid, kiss. That's how I live my life.
Yes.
Like I can't be doing a whole lot of extra, like if you give me something that's got 25 things to do, my eyes are going to glaze over and I'm going to be, we ain't doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but in a real estate transaction, 25 things, that's just the minimum. Like that's just
I was going to say, that's just the beginning, isn't it?
that's just like day one. So Robert Morris in that class, he shared that think about your business being like a stool. A stool can't stand on just two legs, buyers
Right.
and sellers. You got to have a third leg to support it. So that for me was referrals. So last year, about 30% of my business was referrals.
Wow.
Awesome.
Sending them out of Nashville, taking them into Nashville. But I wouldn't have gotten those without joining additional affiliates. I mean, it's no secret. I'm 24, Women's Council State of Tennessee president-elect. So in 25, I'll be president. But Women's Council was, we have a hashtag, Leaders Made Here. And the reason that is because most of your leadership within the association of NAR at some form or fashion have a background in either an affiliate, meaning like RRC, Residential Real Estate Council, which I'm also a member of, or Women's Council. There's, YPN. I mean, there's NAREP. There's so many networking opportunities out there that agents just do not think about. But that class I took was in 2016. And so from there is when my business really started. I started seeing an upward trend. Also, he was like, if you're not good at paperwork, if you're not good at something, hire it out.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Best thing I ever did was hire my transaction coordinator. Her name is Natasha, and she is phenomenal. She is my right hand, and we're like sisters. She actually lives in Florida now. Used to live here in Tennessee, but she covers about 6 or 7 states within her transaction coordination business, and she is phenomenal. Like I could not do the business that I do without her because one, she keeps my squirrely butt on track, and two, she gets into my CRM and is like, hey, you ain't talked to these people in a little bit. Why don't you follow up? She nudges me. I'm not good at that. I'm somebody that I can sell all day long and I know real estate the back of my hand, but keeping up and keeping organized, I am not good at, and I am the first to admit it. So
You can
how that crap out?
you can
Yes.
absolutely get bogged down
Mhm.
by certain details
Yep.
of things. So it's what are you good at? What can you bring the money in at to be able to pay for transaction coordinator, pay different things. I just recently got a CRM.
Mhm.
And I've
Even if
been
it's an
doing,
Excel spreadsheet, it's better than nothing.
Nothing.
absolutely, but you still need to get it, need to get into it and keep on top of things, because when I do, and I've been notorious for this, where okay, great at getting referrals in. I've been doing that, being able to talk with people, but when I go back through and start taking a look through and go, okay, well, I haven't talked to them in a while. And, after that, and it's a way to kind of keep in contact. With most CRMs, you can do drip campaigns now. You can customize those, and being able to automate. You still need to set things up, but you can automate and take care of things. So that's a big part of the systems. And I know on these podcasts, we're going to be talking more in depth with different experts about systems, about social media, about different things. But it's what is your strength?
Yeah, find your strength and go from that.
Delegate and leverage the rest.
Exactly. I mean, hire it out. It is okay if you don't want to do the paperwork. You know, I am still involved in the paperwork. I know exactly what's going out. I know exactly what every doc means, but
Right.
keeping it all organized and stuff, that is not me. You've got to find your people. And I say that I say that so often. I think Randy and I are in area class for Tennessee Realtors together, and we sat like 4 or 5 people away, and I think they did that on purpose because otherwise we'd be, you know, talking the whole time. But they,
Separate rooms.
oh
Okay.
my
Yeah.
gosh, I mean, we both of us can talk to a sign.
Immediately, we were just like,
I was like, I see you, girl. I see you. And poor Brenda next to me. She is so sweet. She's so quiet. We did disc personality. I'm an I. I'm an I. I know that's a shocker. Um, and she's like a C. So she's somebody that's like in the details. She is like my exact opposite. And I'm big picture.
Well, you were mentioning that as far as find what it is that you like to do. And
Mhm.
this is my example, but with you mentioned what was her name? Brandy?
Brenda. Mhm.
Brenda.
Brenda.
It sounds like the same thing. One thing that I was able to do was I was able to bring on a loan officer. He's out of the Knoxville branch. We're all part of the same branch. I'm a satellite branch, but he handles everything from application to closing for me. I may have the initial conversation, may do something, but that's what he's good at.
Right.
He's more experienced than I am, and you know, he's been a loan officer like 11 or 12 years, but he loves being behind the computer and being able to do that and being able to dig into scenarios, do
There
everything
you
like
go.
I'm
that.
gonna go on and speak for Randy. We'd rather have a fork put in our eyes than to sit
Yes.
all day.
But that's it. Even if you're a realtor and you prefer to be handling your transaction, pair up with someone
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
like Jen, like Randy, that can, here, you go out and do this, I'll take care of the paperwork. So there's
Find your people and
That's right.
find
find
your
your people,
people.
build a good team.
Yeah, your team is not, you know, I think so many people think that a team is, oh, a buyer's agent, a listing agent. It's not. I mean, my
Not
team
just
is
that.
my group of lenders, my group of title companies,
Yes.
my
Inspectors.
referral partners, my
Yes.
inspector, you know, my electricians. I mean, in my area, it's so hard to find like a general contractor. Like I've gotten to where I'm like, I'm so sorry. Not my bag. I can't do it. Because
Yeah.
I've been burned so many times. I take it to heart.
Yeah.
You know, if I give a name out, by golly, they better perform like they were at my house. And if they don't, I'm out.
You're done.
I'm not gonna refer
It's
anything.
it's almost like you have to have a caveat on that when you give out any referrals.
A
So
disclaimer.
these have been good for
Yes.
me in the past.
Yep.
Check them out. Find who you feel comfortable with, and that can do the job for you that you have the best connection with. You know,
Absolutely.
so put that disclaimer on there. It's like, no, 100%, refer this person unless I know, time after time after time after time that they've been good and
Yep.
that they're very reliable on there. If one or two times dealing with, it's like, okay, no, you still need to establish a great history with me and how you treat our clients.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, this theme exists here, and whether we want to say the best thing you can do for your business is this, or we want to say you're going to make a mistake and have challenges if you don't do this. When I made the decision, so initially when I came into real estate, I was dual career. I was, working a full-time job, trying to get real estate started on the side. So it was about halfway through 2021 when I made the decision to jump in full-time. And again, I had kind of this attitude, and we were busy enough that I can do it my way. I'm good. I'm good. And everything was fine, like I said. But when I made the conscious decision to show up,
Mhm.
my business took a definite positive turn. I mean, it was amazing. And I think that feeds into, Jen, what you said about, whether it's a designation class, with maybe it's getting involved with something like women's council or whatever it might be, your local association, if your brokerage offers, regular team meetings, trainings, show up. You
Be
have
there.
to show up. I don't care if you're 2 days into the business or 30 years into the business. If you don't
Absolutely.
show up and you're not open to receiving that when you're there, you are missing out, man. You are missing out on so much.
Yes.
Absolutely. And have y'all noticed this? I noticed when I was teaching, whenever I teach the MRP, yeah, trying to keep my military relocation professional in my minimum property requirements class, MRP. Okay. But one thing that I've found, because that course material provides a number of links in there that NAR has. But one thing that I found is there are so few realtors that will go into the different resources that NAR provides, but yet then they complain about NAR not being supportive.
Yep.
What have y'all found on that? I mean, as far as what are the resources that NAR provides?
Oh gosh. I mean, NAR provides so much. I mean, just
Countless.
recently they put out, they're giving the ABR class for free now.
Free.
For free. As long as you are a NAR member, you can take that class completely for free. It doesn't matter
Yes.
if you've been in the business 1 day or 10 years.
Yep.
Free. Free.
Yeah. And that information, I just took it last week. That was the first time I've ever taken it. And there were some folks there that, had taken it maybe 5 years ago or whatever. Oh my word.
Yep.
And I thought I was a good buyer's agent.
Girl, you go to class and you're like, man, I'm dumb sometimes.
No, I know.
Like, I mean, you go to class and at the end of the day, you're there to be better. You're gonna
Yes.
learn something by being there. Even you said, talking about brokerage and team meetings and stuff, going in, being around people. If you're not learning something from the people you're around, this is a hard truth.
Yep. I know
And
where you're
people are
going.
not going to like what I have to say.
We'll say it.
You're at the wrong place.
Change your room.
Change your room.
Yes.
If you are the big fish in the room and you're not learning actively from the people around you, get your tail in another room.
Yep. 100%.
People get stagnant, and I was guilty of that. I mean, I was guilty of that. You have to find your people, and I'll go to war with my people. Like
Amen.
yes.
This is one great industry with real estate, with lenders. Hey, we can work from home, we can work wherever, but it is important. I know when I lived in Nashville, the branch office was up there in Gallatin, which made it hard, but I was new. I wanted to be around people because just being around people was helpful. The main branch in Knoxville, I would drive from Nashville. I still, from Crossville, I'll do it. Well, used to do it occasionally. I'm involved in so many other things, but where I would go in and just work there from the day just to be around some other people, because even when you're working, if you can hear some other people talk about things and go, well, there's a scenario. Let me perk
It's
up.
good energy. Yes.
It's very good energy on there. We're coming up on the end of the time, but let me ask you this here, as far as what can go wrong, as usually will, when you're out with the listing, trying to get that listing, or you're out showing buyers agents. to prevent some of those things that can go wrong, and or to be better prepared for that, what are some good things that all realtors need to have handy with them, because you show up and it's muddy property or whatever on there.
Are you asking what we're keeping in our trunk? Is that what we're
I
getting?
know.
I mean,
your tool
What kind of
cut.
junk you got in your trunk, Jen?
I mean, I got a lot of junk in my
I'll stay away
trunk.
from that.
We have officially derailed. Dawn is like, okay, we're done. Okay,
I'll have
so
to edit that part out and give her a demerit.
I'm here
so
for you.
number one, I always have a separate pair of shoes.
Yep.
Whether it's a muck boot or if I'm wearing a muck boot, just something to change into. Because I have driven home barefooted from showing foreclosure property. You know, that you just walk in, you stick to the floor, and you're like,
Please.
these are not going home with me. There's a trash can right here. They're going to go in this trash can. So, extra pair of shoes. I always have a change of clothes. I've been the person that has bent down and has split their pants, showing a property. It was with some really good friends of mine, thank the Lord. And if they hear this, they're gonna comment on it and they're gonna be like, I was there.
Oh gosh.
I always have a hammer, like
you look at these
the
things,
basic
you look at these
tools.
things as their social media posts to be able to be told.
Oh, absolutely.
Content.
I mean, there's
100%.
nothing that I've done that I'm like super embarrassed about. I mean, splitting my pants was a good one. I mean, I got locked out of a house because I left the keys on the counter. Guess where that key goes now? In my pocket every freaking single time, because I have left it on the counter and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then you're calling the listing agent. Shout out to Renee Cochran Klein. Spicer now is her last name. Because it was her listing, and bless her, she came and she unlocked it for me. Bless her. So you live and you learn. The other thing I always have in my car is paper towel.
Yep. Antibacterial wipes.
And toilet paper.
Baby wipes. Tape measure.
Yep, tape measure. I
A
have
little first aid kit.
Yeah.
Flashlight.
Yeah, flashlight. You know, you have your toolkit that's, just has, everything in it, like a screwdriver, because you never know when you're gonna have to like take down a light fixture at a listing one day. Because the seller wants to reserve it. And I'm like, and he's got another one to put up. Full service, Paul. Full service.
Full service.
My car is my mobile office. And so literally, I always have my laptop and I always have my phone with me. But having my car with, I have a like a little plastic tote thing that I keep everything in. These clothes, I probably couldn't even wear them today because I've lost 80 pounds because I ain't changed nothing out in them. But they'd get me to where I needed to go if I, split my britches again.
Right.
So
there you go.
I probably need to change that out.
You might want to think about that. Just some leggings anyway.
Writing a note right now.
And I imagine it's almost like, a CSI to go kit or something. It's like, okay, we're going out and, if you already have it in your vehicle or you have it sitting there to be able to go, but it's a thing too, where you probably need to check in on that to check your inventory.
Yeah, probably just need to see, okay, are my paper towels so old that they're dry rotted because they've been in a hot car? I mean,
that happened with my baby wipes one time.
Yeah, dried out.
They dried out. Yeah.
Yep. Same thing with the Lysol wipes. Although during COVID and stuff, I did replenish all of that stuff. Yeah. So they're probably still a little good, but you just don't realize how often you need that stuff. And another thing is hand soap. You never know, like especially with me getting into the auction properties, you just never know how dirty you're going to be. I mean,
I started carrying bug spray too when I was showing a lot of property around the lake and that kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, you got to prepare for war in times of peace. And so,
Yep.
think about what you might possibly need. And here's the thing, for like, I love new agents. Like, I genuinely get joy out of mentoring and educating. And so find somebody that, you may not have all the answers, but by golly, build you a network that you're going to, you can go to them for any kind of questions.
Yes.
So 10 cents for
Absolutely.
me.
It's one of the best things that everybody can have is just a good attitude about everything. Hey, listen, things happen every day. It doesn't matter what you're going to do, what you do in life, things happen, but how is it that you address it? How is it that you respond to it? Do you learn from it? Do you, for your actions, do you take responsibility for your actions? Go, okay, I could have done better on that.
Yeah.
Or are you one that wants to deflect to somebody else that, hey, it was their fault? No, there's always a good
It took
way
me
to
a
get out
long
of things.
time to get to that.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's always things that we can learn. Hey, listen, things are going to go wrong every day. Every day. So just respond to it, have good attitude about it, learn from it, learn how you can not only learn for yourself, but to help others. There is strength in numbers.
Absolutely.
There's not, even though inventory is low, there's not competitors, but think of everybody as colleagues, because one, you never know when you're going to be working across the table from them, or that you need them as part of your team, or that they need you as part of their team. There's a lot of different things. So just respond to everything well. Understand things happen. I'm sure everybody here has stories of your own. Feel free in any place where we have comments available to post it in the comments. Jen, I want to thank you so much for coming on with us today. And if you need a great realtor in that Gallatin big area,
Nashville. Yep.
Nashville North,
Yep.
reach out to Jen Overstreet. Sevierville area, Randi Smith. And Randi, thank you so much for coming on. Anytime we do
I
these,
love it.
I'm gonna have to go get some overalls now.
I mean, I'm feeling a little left out today. Like, I should have worn mine. I've got some UT checkerboard overalls. I mean, my broker might fire me for wearing them, but he's bless his heart, he's an Alabama fan.
Love him.
He is
Tell your
standing at
broker to
my
get over it.
conference room door with #1 Alabama fan license plate. Bless his little heart. God love him.
We'll pray.
See, you never know when you're going to be working across from.
You don't. I appreciate you having me on, and yeah, if anybody has, I enjoy networking. So if you ever have any questions or anything like that, I would love to talk to you. And I have plenty of horror stories to share and some good laughs. And, only a few of them were like, terrible. I survived.
Pretty good odds right there.
Right?
Yeah.
Just a few.
Sometimes that's all you can hope for, is to survive.
Last piece of advice, go to class. If your business is lacking, get your tail in class, and you're going to learn something that just might click and give you a new idea. And as always, people over profit, and the money will come.
Amen. Love it.
Get involved. And I mean, you get involved, you meet cool people like me and Randi. I mean, we're awesome. I mean, Randi's my girl. They have to split us up at Tennessee Realtors, though.
That makes me so happy.
Randi, any final thoughts here?
Man, I can't echo what Jen just said enough. Honestly, that is the key. Show up, get your tail in the office. COVID absolutely changed the way so many of us do business. And listen, I think we all recognize there are benefits to that if we've got children that are sick, or, life happens, right? And sometimes we do have to work remotely or on the road. However, that missing link to your business, I promise you, is in your office. Show up, get to class, get to your team meeting, get to where you're surrounded by like-minded individuals. And Dawn, you hit on it earlier. Even if you overhear a conversation an office or so over, you may think, wow, I've never heard about that. I bet that person would share more information with me if I went over and asked. And boom, you have instantly become a better agent because of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Build
I've got
relationships.
to piggyback off of that real quick. I'm so sorry. You know,
That's
I
all right.
can't tell anything in short. So you were talking about going to the office, meeting people at the office, being around them, listening to conversations. I had a new agent. She's newer. I mean, within the last 2 years, recent to our brokerage. And I learned this past weekend that she had never met anybody except her broker at her last office. That was me. That was me right there.
What?
Yes, ma'am. And I'm like, girlfriend, you've got to find your people. You have to find your
Yes.
people.
Yes.
So get active, whether it's a local association, whether it's your office, whether it's an affiliate, you know, women's council, you know, a
Right.
lender doing a podcast, a lender, you know, hosting a lunch and learn. Get active, get out there and learn something. It will change your business and it'll change your mindset.
Amen. Yep.
Absolutely. Well, with that, we're going to end. I want to thank everybody for joining us today, and we look forward to you joining us on any of our other podcasts. Let others know about us. Thank you. Go out there and get them today. Develop your own stories and have a great attitude.
See you next time.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.